for the whole network industry when somebody has a hit like that. Sherry thanked him, and Wright went on with a few pleasantries about the show and the attention it was getting. But of course, none of that was the real point of the call. Suddenly, Wright changed the tenor of the conversation. "Can I ask you a question?" Wright said. "This is a yes or no question. Did you bring this to NBC?" Sherry got the drift quickly. "Yes, I brought it to NBC first," he said. Wright, his unhappiness confirmed, asked Sherry what had happened. Sherry filled him in to the best of his recollection about how the script he had written had been delivered to NBC's Comedy Development Department. Wright wanted to know if Sherry had names of the people who might have seen the script. Sherry, figuring a heaping helping of blame was about to be dished out, offered a few names. Then he said, "Well, they told me it was great and everything, and then they told me that they weren't so sure it was a comedy. So they were sending it over to drama. The next thing I got back was word that they were going to take a pass on it." When he hung up with Sherry, Wright concluded that he would have many more calls to make, calls to NBC development executives and the top managers at NBC Entertainment. He was determined to learn exactly what had happened, how NBC had missed this opportunity. As much as he was convinced that the future of television would be ruled by unpredictable, sweeping change, Wright knew one thing had not changed and would not change. No matter how they viewed television, on their computer monitors, on their cell phones, or on TV screens as big as medieval tapestries, people would still want to see hit shows. If you had hits, it would not matter where and how the revenue came in, you would always be in business. Until the fall of 2004, ABC had spent most of a decade consistently disproving one of the hoariest axioms of network television, that primetime programming was a cyclical business, where the losers would surely become winners eventually. Maybe no more, the analysts and critics and competitors said. Maybe ABC was the proof that television had changed irrevocably, that a network really on the skids could no longer launch a smash hit show that could turn around its fortunes, that a network could simply fail again and again until it ceased to matter as a competitive entity. In the space of 11 days between September 22nd and October 3rd, 2004, ABC shut the analysts and critics up. Even that early in the season, much of the nation was talking about not one but two new shows on ABC. Desperate Housewives was, with more than 21 million viewers, the most watched new show on ABC since 1996. Another new show, Lost, had also taken off immediately, drawing more than 18 million viewers and becoming a phenomenon from its first week on the air. Besides their explosive starts, both shows shared unusually turbulent backstories in how they reached the air, the kind that seemed to attach to every big hit the networks managed to find. The timing of the twin hits had profound consequences for ABC and its network competitors. With Desperate Housewives and Lost, a network had two instant breakout hits in the same season for the first time since NBC introduced ER and Friends in 1994. Those two shows had ushered in a decade of dominance for NBC. Now, 10 years later, that network saw the returns from its one-time bonanza finally falling to dust, and its own failure to replenish its roster of hits over that decade left NBC vulnerable to playing a painful game of role reversal with ABC. Suddenly, ABC had the hits, NBC didn't. And, as Bob Wright knew, it was no time for a network to be so bereft. The smash hit show was more than ever the lifeline for network television, the mother lode from which the big four networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, along with the two part-time networks, WB and UPN, extracted more than $20 billion in advertising each year. Those billions were still the oxygen of the network business, and designer-suited men, as ever it was mostly men, in well-appointed offices in Manhattan and Burbank, California, now squirmed mightily with the effort to keep that air supply flowing. Already diminished by inroads from cable, the networks faced ever more serious threats from all kinds of digital and broadband competitors, endless temptations for viewers, especially the young ones they lusted after, to drift to other forms of entertainment and diversion. Having the smoking hot hit, the appointment show, the must-see TV that cable channels could not yet afford to produce, that a computer screen or BlackBerry or iPod could not hope to duplicate, was more than ever a life-or-death proposition for the business. In 2005, the networks themselves, noticing the tide of ad dollars drifting away to internet sites and other locations, set out with the fervor of the newly converted to find ways to build new revenue streams by feeding their programming into all those new micro and magna-sized outlets. Disney lined up a deal to play episodes of Desperate Housewives and Lost on Apple's latest invention, the video iPod, a palm-sized picture of strikingly good quality, charging $1.99 for each.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.